Welcome friends to my channel Stat Envy, where we have started a lecture series on sample survey. This is the fifth part of the series, and in this part we shall talk about simple random sampling. So what are the types of the sampling? There are three types of sampling. First one is subjective or judgment sampling. Second one is probability sampling. Third one is mixed sampling. Okay. So what is subjective or judgment sampling? In case of subjective or judgment sampling, we can choose the sample from the population according to our choice. Okay. That means in case of subjective or judgment sampling, the investigator selects the sample from the population according to his choice. Okay. And whatever you want to draw the inference for the population, he choose the sample from the population in such a way. Okay, so this is judgment sampling. So there is a full case of biasness in case of judgment sampling. But what is probability sampling? In case of probability sampling, each and every unit of the population has an equal chance of being selected in the sample. Okay, it may happen that the sampling units may have different probabilities of being selected in the sample, and the probability of selecting a unit is proportional to the sample size. Okay, and we will discuss all these things in more details when we discuss all the sampling technique. Okay, part by part. Okay, and what is mixed sampling? In case of mixed sampling, we use both the methods. That means we use the method of judgment sampling, we use the method of probability sampling in case of mixed sampling. Okay, so for now you just understand that judgment sampling is a sampling in which we draw the sample according to our choice. That means whatever inference we want to draw for the population, in such a way we draw our sample from the population. Okay, so that we get that inference for our population which we want to draw. Okay, and in case of probability sampling, each and every unit of the population has an equal probability of being selected in the sample, so that the sample has represent the population in such a way that it will be a real picture of the population. Okay, and in case of mixed sampling, we use the method of both, that means judgment sampling as well as a probability sampling. Okay, and these are the list of different types of sampling. What are these? Simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, systematic sampling, multi-stage sampling, quasi-random sampling, area sampling, simple cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling, and quarter sampling. Okay, and part by part we will discuss all the sampling technique in our lecture series. Okay, and in this part we shall talk about only simple random sampling. So what is this? So in case of simple random sampling, each unit of the population has an equal and independent chance of being selected in the sample. Okay, so what does it mean? That means, suppose for example, this is our population and it is of size capital N. Okay, and we want to draw a sample of size small n. In that case, each of the observation, that means this observation, this observation, this observation, has equal probability of being selected in our sample. Okay, so now what is the probability of selecting the unit at the first draw? Okay, when the population size is n, capital N. Okay, in that case, the probability of selecting the unit at the first row is equal to 1 by capital N. That means at the first row, each observation of the population has an equal probability of being selected in the sample. And what is this probability? That is 1 by capital N. Why it is 1 by capital N? Because there are how many observations? Because there are capital N total observation. Okay, and each of the observation has 1 by capital N probability. This observation has 1 by capital N probability. This observation has 1 by capital N probability. This observation has 1 by capital N probability of being selected in our sample. Okay, each of the observation has 1 by n capital N probability to being selected in our sample at our first row. That means when our population size is capital N. Okay, when our population size is capital N, at that time the probability of selecting the unit, any unit at the first row, is equal to 1 by capital N. Next, what is the probability of the unit at the second row? It will be is equal to 1 by capital N minus 1. That means probability of selecting any unit, this unit, this unit, this unit, to being selected at the second row in the sample will be equal to 1 by capital N minus 1. Why? Because how many observations remain here after selecting the first unit from the population to the sample? there are capital N minus 1 observation. Okay, after selecting the first unit from the population to the sample, there will remain capital N minus 1 observation in the target population. Okay, and out of this capital N minus 1 observation, each of the observation has 1 by capital N minus 1 probability of being selected in the sample at the second row. Okay, similarly, what is the probability of the unit of being selected at the third row in the sample? It will be 1 by capital N minus 2. Again the same reason, because after selecting the two units from the population to the sample, there will remain how many observation? There will remain capital N minus 2 observation. Okay, that's why each of the observation has 1 by capital N minus 2 probability of being selected in the sample at the third row. Okay, and so on. And this is what? This is the probability of selecting the unit at the rth row. Okay, probability of selecting any unit at the rth row, it will be equal to 1 by N minus R plus 1. That means same reason, after selecting R minus 1 observation from the population to the sample, there will remain how many observation in the population? There will remain this observation in the population, and each of the observation has this probability of being selected at the rth row. Okay, hope you understand this one. Now let ER be the event that any specified unit is selected at the rth row. Okay, so what is the probability of this? Probability that the event of any specified unit is selected at the rth row. Okay, now we are going to calculate it. So how can I calculate this one? It means what? ER is the event. Okay, ER is the event and it is the specified unit which is selected at the rth row. Okay, so if a specified unit is selected at the rth row, it means what? It means that that specified unit is not selected at the previous R minus 1 rows. Okay, and then it is selected at the rth row, isn't it? It means that that event is not selected in any of the previous R minus 1 rows and then it is selected at the rth row. Okay, now with the help of this we can calculate the probability of this event. Okay, now what is the probability of the specified unit is selected at the first row? It will be what? It will be 1 by capital N, isn't it? Okay, so now probability that the specified unit is not selected at the first row, it will be equal to this 1 minus 1 by capital N. Okay, again what is the probability that the specified unit is selected at the second row? It will be 1 by N minus 1. Okay, and what is the probability that the event unit is not selected at the second row? It will be 1 minus 1 by capital N minus 1, isn't it? And so on. And at the R minus 1th row, it is the probability of selecting the event at the R minus 1th row. That means 1 by N minus R plus 2. Okay. Now, what is the probability that the event is not selected at the R minus 1th row? It will be 1 minus 1 by N minus R plus 2. Okay. Into, this is the probability that the event is selected at the rth row. It will be 1 by N minus R plus 1. Okay. So, after calculating all these things, it will cancel out this one, it will cancel out this one. Okay, after cancelling all these things, we will get 1 by capital N. And what is this? This is the probability of selecting any unit at the first row. Okay, it means that the probability that any specified unit is selected at the rth row is equal to the probability of selecting any unit at the first row. And this is one of the important property of simple random sampling without replacement. Okay, that means the probability of selecting a specified unit of the population at any given row is equal to the probability of being selected at the first row. Okay, probability of selecting any specified unit at any given row is equal to the probability of its being selected at the first row. Okay, hope you understand this thing. Now we calculate probability of selecting any specified unit in the sample. Okay, now since the specified unit can be included in the sample of size n in n mutually exclusive ways, Okay, our sample size is n, and a specified unit can be included in our sample in how many ways? In n mutually exclusive ways. Okay, namely it can be selected in the sample at the rth row. It may selected at the first row, it may selected at the second row, it may be selected at the nth row, isn't it? So by addition theorem we can get the probability that a specified unit is included in the sample is equal to sum of this. Okay, sum of this. If we sum all these things, we will get n by capital N, small n by capital N. Okay, so probability of any specified unit included in the sample is equal to n by small n by capital N. Okay, now simple random sampling can also be defined equivalently as follows. How? Now let us suppose that a sample of size small n, okay, is drawn from a population of size capital N. So we have a sample of size small n and we have a population of size capital N. Okay, so in that case, in how many ways we can choose our sample from the population? We can choose in NCN possible ways. Okay, that means there are NCN possible samples. Okay, and out of these NCN possible samples we can select any one. Okay, so SRS is that means simple random sampling is a technique of selecting the sample in such a way that each of the possible sample combination has equal probability of being selected. Okay, that means how many combinations are there, how many sample combination are there? There are NCN sample combination. Okay, when sample size is small n and population size is capital N. Okay, so how many combinations are there? There are capital N CN possible sample combination. Okay, if we have capital N size population and we have sample size of small n, and out of this NCN sample combination, each of the sample combination has an equal probability of being selected. Okay, now in SRS we already discussed that probability of selecting any unit at the first row is equal to 1 by capital N. Again, probability of selecting any unit at the second row is equal to 1 by capital N minus 1, and so on. Okay, and since all the rows are independent, so by compound probability theorem, the probability of selecting a sample of size n in a fixed specified order is equal to this one. Okay, 1 by capital N into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into dot n minus n plus 1. So this is the probability of selecting a sample of size small n in a fixed specified order. Okay, that means there is some order, but this probability is independent of the order, and there are n factorial permutation of the sample units. Okay, how many combination, how many arrangements are there, there will be n factorial arrangements. Okay, and hence by addition theorem of probability, the probability of obtaining a sample of size n of any order is equal to this one, P is equal to 1 by NCN. Okay, now let's understand this with the help of an example. Okay, so it will be more clear to you. Now suppose for example this is our population and this is of size 10. Okay, that means there are 10 observations in our population and we want to draw a sample of size 3. Okay, this is our sample. Okay, now what is the probability of selecting any unit at the first row? Any unit, this one, at the first row it will be 1 by 10. Each of the observation has 1 by 10 probability of being selected in our sample. Okay, so after selecting the first unit, what is the probability of selecting any unit at the second row? It will be 1 by 9, because how many observations are remain there? Because there are 9 observations. Okay, after selecting the first unit from the population to the sample, there are 9 observations, and out of these 9 observations, each of the observation has an equal probability of being selected at the to the sample at the second row. Okay, again, what is the probability of selecting any unit to the second row? It will be 1 by 8, because there are 8 observations after selecting 2 units from the population to the sample. Okay. Now, since all the rows are independent, by compound probability theorem, the probability of selecting a sample of size 3 in a fixed specified order, okay, fixed specified order is equal to what? It will be equal to 1 by 10 into 1 by 9 into 1 by 8. That means probability of selecting any unit at the first row is equal to 1 by 10 into probability of selecting any unit at the second row is equal to 1 by 9. Probability of selecting any unit at the third row is equal to 1 by 8. So this is the probability of selecting a sample of size 3 in a fixed specified order. Okay, so now so here we can see that, suppose for example, this is our sample observation. Okay, this is our sample observations, and we draw randomly this observation from the population. Okay, we draw randomly the sample from the population. Okay, and we get this 1 2 3 1 2 5. Okay, that means we get these observations, sample observation, using the simple random technique. Okay, so one random technique, so 1 2 5. Okay, now so in our sample, how many units are there? There are 3 sample units. Okay, and these sample units may occur in any of the following order, like this. Okay, these sample units may occur in any of the following order: 1 2 5 1 5 2 5 2 1 5 1 2, like this. Okay, so how many orders will be there? How many orders will be there? There will be 6 orders, or you can say 3 factorial arrangements or orders. Okay, so if we use this thing, then then we will get, by addition theorem probability, the required probability of obtaining a sample of size 3 of any order is equal to what? This is the probability of selecting 1 to 5. This is the probability of selecting this one. This is again, this is the probability of selecting this one. Okay, so after adding all this thing, we will get this. Okay, and after calculating, after solving all these things, we will get 1 by 10c 3. That means what? This 10 is what? This 10 is capital N, and this 3 is what? This 3 is small n. Okay, so this is the probability of selecting a sample of size 3 of any order is equal to 1 by 10c 3 when the population size is 10. Okay, similarly, if we apply this example to our theoretical parts, we understand all these things. In case of our population, we have written capital N, and in case of our sample, we have written small n. Okay, so the probability of obtaining a sample of size small n out of capital N population is equal to 1 by NCN. Okay, so out of these 10 observations, we want to draw a sample of size 3. So what is the possible sample combination? It will be 10c3, isn't it? It may happen that we get here 1 to 5, so we may get 1 2 3, we may get 1 3 4, like this. So in this way, how many sample combination we'll get? We'll get 10c3 sample combination, and each of the sample combination has an equal probability of being selected. Okay, that means each of the sample observation has 1 by 10c3 ways of being selected. Okay, and that's we have get in the following result. Now, selection of a simple random sampling. How is select a simple random sample? Okay, so random sample refers to that method of sample selection in which every item has an equal chance of being selected. Okay, a random sample not only depend on the method of selection but also on the size and nature of the population. Generally, the method of selection should be independent of the properties of the sample population. A random sample can be obtained by lottery method. That means with the help of lottery we can choose the sample randomly. Then mechanical randomization or random number tables are there. Okay, with the help of the random number tables we can choose the units from the population to our sample. Okay, so this will follow the process of randomness. Okay, so in case of random number tables, there are 4 common tables. That means Tippett's random number tables are there, Fisher's and Yates tables are there, Kendall's and Babington Smith random tables are there. Okay, and Rand Corporation random number tables are there. Okay, so these are the random number tables, and with the help of these random number tables we can choose a sample from the population randomly. Okay, now with the help of an example, just understand that how we choose a sample from the population randomly. Okay, so suppose for example we want to draw a sample without replacement of size 15 from a population of size 500. Okay, so the following is an extract from the first set of 40 4 digit numbers in Tippett's random number tables. Okay, that means this is one of the part of Tippett's random number table, and I just write all this thing to make you understand that how we can use the random number tables for selecting the sample from the population. Okay, so we have to draw a sample of size 15 without replacement. That means without replacement means no replacement is there. That means no repetition will be there. Okay, so we want to draw a sample of size 15 from a population of 500. Okay, so here it is mentioned that the population size 500. So whatever sample units we will take from the random number table, it will be obviously what, it will be maximum 3 digit number. Okay, and again it will be less than or equal to 500. Okay, if the 3 digit number is less than or equal to 500 in our random number table, then we can select that unit from the population to our sample. Okay, do you understand? The sample size is 500, so we have to consider the 3 digit number. Okay, if the sample size is 1000, then we have to consider the 4 digit number. Okay, and then we have to check that whether that digit is greater than 1000 or less than or equal to 1000. Okay, but in our case our sample size is 500, so we will consider 3 digit number and we will check that whether that digit is less than or equal to 500. If it is less than or equal to 500, then we consider that sample units to our sample. Okay, and if the digit is greater than 500, then we will just ignore it. Okay, because it is not for use. Okay, so if the digit 3 digit number is less than or equal to 500, then we will consider it as a sampling units and we select that sampling units from the population to our sample. Okay, now let's see this. Okay, so we are considering column wise. Okay, so first we get 295, then 416, 237, 556, 275, then 266, 795, and then 074, 052, 491, 413, 241, so 833. So we'll ignore this one, we'll ignore this one, we ignore this one, we ignore this one, because all these units are greater than 500 and we cannot consider it on a study. Okay, so if we do like this, after getting the 15 observations which is less than or equal to 500, we stop at that moment. Okay, and we may say that this is our random sample. Okay, and we may choose these sampling units from the population to our sample. Okay, so this is the way we can use the random number table for selecting sample units from the population to the sample. Okay, so I hope you understand all this thing, and if you understand, then please like, share and subscribe my channel, and please make comment if there is any query regarding any issues or confusions are there. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you.